We're going to continue on with our lesson from yesterday. And in that lesson, we left off by solving, and we want to get the squares alone. So what will we do first in this problem of 4x squared minus 6 equals 42? Add 6. So 4x squared equals 48. Divide by 4. So x squared equals 12. Undo a square by square rooting. So x equals plus or minus, and this factors into 4 times 3. So that would be 2 square roots of 3. Okay, let's try the next one. 1/5 times x minus 4 squared equals 6. First we would multiply by 5. And I have x minus 4 squared equals 30. Now I would square root. So x minus 4 equals plus or minus, let's see, 5 times 6, nothing comes out, the square root of 30. I still need to solve for x, so I would add 4. So we put 4 in the front. So x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 30. On the next one, negative 5x squared plus 2 equals 12. First we would subtract 2. Negative 5x squared equals 10. Divide by negative 5. And x squared equals a negative 2. Square root. Can't square root a negative, so no solution. And the last one we have to teach you, method of solving, is the quadratic formula. In order to use the quadratic formula, your equation must always equal 0. So, the quadratic formula is the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of it over 2a. And the most common mistake made in quadratic formula is they do not put all of that numerator over 2a. So, to solve this, we would first subtract the 35. 3x squared plus 8x minus 35 equals 0. And then a is 3, b is 8, and c is negative 35. So x will equal the square root of, the opposite of b. b is 8, so its opposite would be negative 8, plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times a, 3, times c, negative 35, all over 2 times a, which is 3. Negative 8 plus or minus the square root 64. Negative makes a positive. 35 times 12. 420 all over 6. Negative 8 plus or minus 484 square root all over 6, which is a negative 8 plus or minus, what is the square root of 484? It's 22 all over 6. So this becomes negative 8 plus 22 over 6, or negative 8 minus 22 over 6. This is 14/6, which is 7/3. And this one is negative 36, which is negative 5. So you still get 2 answers. Okay. Let's do the next one. This has us compute b squared minus 4ac. So in this one, b is 3. So 3 squared minus 4 times a times c, 9 plus 4, 13. b squared minus 4 ac, 16 minus 16, 0. b squared minus 4 ac, 25 minus 8, 17. b squared minus 4 ac, 36, 3 negatives make a negative, minus 36 is 0. And these last two, b squared minus 4 ac, 400, 3 negatives, 408, negative 8. And b squared minus 4 ac, 81 minus 96, a negative 15. Now let's take a look at those. Notice when b squared minus 4ac is 0, notice there is only 1 point. It is a double root that the graph is touching. When b squared is a positive number, notice that the graph touches in 2 spots. And when b squared is a negative number, notice that the graph does not touch at all. So we can tell things by finding b squared minus 4ac. That is called the discriminant. b squared minus 4ac. And from the other page, we noticed that if I have a positive perfect square, I will have 2 real rational roots. If I have a positive number that is not a perfect square, my roots will still be real, but they will be irrational. If the discriminant is 0, then my roots were one of them, and it was a double root. When my roots were negative, I had no real numbers. No roots. So let's just try a couple. b squared minus 4ac. 36 minus 36 equals 0. So what kind of roots will you have? A double root that's real. B, 36 minus 4AC. 36 plus 36, 72. Positive number, not a perfect square, so they will be two real rationals. Let's try C. 36 minus 4AC. 36 minus 180. Negative 144. Negative, no real roots. And the last one. Negative 3 squared 9 minus 4AC. 9 plus 16, 25. Perfect square. So I will have two real rational roots. This was not a perfect square. This one should be irrational roots. Let's make sure you fix that. Irrational when it's not a perfect square. Rational when it is a perfect square. You should now be able to finish up this assignment as well.